Tortilla de patatas or potato omelet is a very famous Spanish tapas food. Let's make it. First, get yourself comfortable and peel those potatoes. Depending on the size of the pan, you will need about 800 grams of potatoes for a 24 cm or 10-inch pan, and about 1.5 kilos for the 28 cm 12-inch one. I'll cut the potatoes in 4 and then slice them about this size. You want to use harder potatoes that are made for frying, not the ones for mashed potatoes. I'll also cut a small onion the same way and throw it in the pan after adding a good amount of oil. I'll pretend this was olive oil because that's what you're supposed to use, but I'm not selling my kidney to get a bottle of it. Once the onions are translucent, I'll now add the potatoes and make sure to move them around so they are covered with oil from all sides. I'll cover this and leave it on medium to low heat for as long as it takes. This depends on the type of potatoes. It could take between 20 to 40 minutes. Just move them around every 10 minutes until they're softer and almost cooked. Meanwhile, we can prepare the egg replacement. 2 tablespoons of potato starch with about 200 milliliters of oat milk. Mix it well, making sure the starch dissolves completely. It will help if you use cold milk. I'm going to crumble 200 grams of firm tofu, but you can instead run it in the mixer with the oat milk and starch if you want a smoother egg. The quiche video has more details about egg replacement and also uses different ingredients if it's something you would like to explore. You can also use silken tofu. It should have the same effect. I'm just being lazy and didn't want to get the mixer out. Talking about being lazy, I almost never subscribe or like videos on YouTube, so I totally understand if you don't, but it would be great if you do so. And it's such a great motivation when people support me on Patreon and other methods mentioned in the description. If you think you can do that, I'll be very grateful. Back to the potatoes. Now that they're almost cooked, I'll add some salt to them, then the tofu and some aromatic salt. Here are the ingredients. You can make it yourself if you don't have a vegan aromat. You can also check the scrambled tofu video. I'm explaining more about it there, and please don't judge that video. It was my first one ever. Make sure to adjust the salt according to how much aromat you prefer to add. Now I'm gonna add the milk and potato starch, and you can see how it started to harden immediately. I felt like I need more milk, so I added a little more as I didn't want this to be very solid. I'll let it cook without covering it till the bottom of the tortilla gets brown before I flip it over. If you don't think flipping things is your forte, here's a lazy way. I made exactly the same tortilla de patatas but in a bigger pan and didn't use onions this time. Then after following all the previous steps, I added some cheese on top and put it in the oven on only the top grill so it browns from the top. This was because I wasn't sure I'll be able to flip this whole pan and not have a disaster, especially while filming. Okay, back to the small pan. Check that the bottom is getting some nice brown color. Then put a plate on top. Probably a good idea to use a flat plate. Flip the whole pan, then slide the tortilla back in. I added a little oil first in case there's a chance it will stick to the bottom. Then when the other side is brown as well, I'll flip it the same way into a pretty plate, decorated with something. I like to eat this with sriracha, but also I like to eat everything with sriracha. This really tastes awesome. I hope you try it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.